Morning, everybody. We will get started in a couple minutes. We're going to let everybody a few more minutes to get in. So we will be starting in a few more minutes. Hang on. All right, everybody. We are going to get started today. Thank you all for joining us today. We're really excited to be a sponsor of Cozy Small Business Week and a resource fair. Also proud to be an endorsed partner of Cozy GCP, providing payroll and HR solutions to Cozy members in Northeast Ohio. Today, what we want to talk about is some common HR mistakes small business owners make. I am lucky enough to be joined with a legend here at Ahola. It's Ahola, Miss Paula Tresger. Paula and I will be talking to you about these common mistakes throughout the presentation today over the next half hour. So as I mentioned earlier, my name is Brian Boff, sales manager here. I was born and raised in Northeast Ohio and have been in the industry for over 15 years. Just thinking back to this past weekend and all the things we're thankful for during these tough times, one of them is being able to work with small business owners like yourselves, being able to witness the passion that you all have for your business and helping you take things off your plate that you otherwise don't want to do, like HR issues, compliance issues. With that said, I'm going to turn it over and let Paula introduce herself briefly.
Morning, everybody, and thank you again. As Brian mentioned, my name's Paula Tresger, and I'm a senior sales executive here at Ahola. I've been here for 20 years. I've worked with a lot of Cozy members in the past. I've worked with Cozy and the GCP as far as many of their talented individuals who really care about their members. So we are very lucky, very fortunate, again, to be one of the partners with Cozy and the GCP. Ahola's worked with thousands of small to medium-sized companies over the years, and many businesses really appreciate that Ahola has been in business now for 53 years. We are family-owned, and we are here to offer you exceptional customer service to you and your organization.
Thanks, Paula. Please note this presentation is for informational and educational purposes only. It does not constitute legal advice and cannot constitute legal advice because the authors are not licensed attorneys. So you shall not rely or act upon any information presented on this presentation without seeking professional legal counsel first. So I had to get that out of the way, our disclaimer. So let's get started. So for those of you who do not know who Ahola is, we've been helping small to medium-sized businesses in Northeast Ohio for 50 years now. Like Paula said, thousands of those small businesses to medium-sized businesses owners, they look to Ahola for our expertise in payroll, taxes, HR, and everything in between. So what we want to do today is we want to talk about some of these pitfalls that can help keep you in compliance and out of compliance risk. So how do startups and small business owners manage HR? HR for startups and entrepreneurs can be as simple as creating your first job posting or as in-depth as creating an employee handbook to protect your business. What most business owners don't know is 54% of small businesses handle employment matters themselves to save money, but quickly realize they'd be better off devoting their time to sales, technology, and other functions. So in the end, many of these employees who take on HR duties simply aren't prepared. This opens up for compliance issues and risk issues for many small business owners. Actually, 70% of companies with between 5 and 49 employees add HR duties to an employee that is unexperienced and unqualified to handle these types of issues, creating an opening for lawsuits and compliance risk. So, here are the 6 common mistakes we're going to discuss today. First one is hiring and firing talent based on gut feelings, unaware of relevant labor laws, labor law postings, mishandling employee files, misclassifying employee and independent contractors, and outdated or unenforced handbooks. So let's get into the first one. So the first one we're going to talk about is hiring and firing talent based on gut feelings. Employment-related lawsuits, as you know, could be very costly. Small employers tend to think that if they do not document any employee relation situations, or if they are inconsistent in hiring or inconsistent in interviewing standards, the liability will be reduced as there will be nothing for the employee to use against them. But in all matter, documentation of employee relation situations allows the employer to prove proper actions were taken, the involved employee was informed of what was needed of them to correct the actions, and warning of potential for additional disciplinary actions were up to termination was provided. So hiring and firing talent based on gut feelings. Here's a few things that are critical: documentation, drafting of job descriptions, legal review of these job descriptions, performance improvement plans, regularly scheduled evaluations. So documentation is critical. Employers must make sure that either them or their managers are documenting any issues with an employee that's considered violation of policy or situations that warrant corrective action. Key here is document everything, but also be consistent. If you document for one employee, you must document for another employee. If in an interview you're taking notes for one interview candidate, you must take notes for the other candidates as well too. So you have to be consistent. Next are job descriptions. You must have job descriptions for your employees, letting them know what their job duties are. So make sure you have them, but you're using them as well. They should be reviewed by legal or written by a consultant company. You need to review them with all employees, either during the interview process or right after the interview process, and make sure you have the employee sign off on them so it's documented. Another area that you need to be buttoned up on is performance improvement plans and evaluations. Evaluations are very key so employees know where they are. So when a performance improvement plan has to be given, they know where they stand. They need to be standard and consistent for all areas of the company and linked to your company values, core values. Example of a wrongful termination suit that one of our clients brought to us was they had an employee come in one day for work. The employee was intoxicated. This was a small business. Well, the first gut feeling of the owner was to send that employee home. Well, the employer got a call from an attorney for a wrongful termination lawsuit. And the first thing the attorney stated was that the employer sent a known intoxicated employee home and let them drive themselves. So that was a complete no-no, and the company lost a lawsuit and were sued for wrongful termination. So just one example of many examples out there if you're not using documentation in the proper sign-off. Another area of relevance here is unaware of relevant labor laws. This is another common mistake that most business owners make, and some business owners make, I should say. As your business grows, you need to be aware of thresholds that you reach that more federal labor laws apply to your business. These thresholds are from 1 to 14. After a company gets to 15 to 20 employees, another threshold is 21 to 50, and then finally 50 to 100 and over. So keeping track of this on your own, plus everything else that's on your plate, it could be a nightmare for you and a risk. We find most business owners either aren't aware of these labor laws or do not have the resources to track when they go from threshold to threshold. So, for example, some of the labor laws, federal labor laws that you must abide by for a company that has one employee or more are FLSA, OSHA, and HIPAA, just to name a few. So the FLSA, which is the Fair Labor Standards Act, establishes minimum wage, overtime pay, recording, record keeping, child labor standards affecting full-time and part-time workers in private and federal sector, state and local governments. Some of these stories I hear from my sons when their friends are over about some of the jobs that they work at as part-time jobs when they're in high school, just blows my mind of how these business owners don't know of all the federal and state laws that they have to abide by, like proper break times, working them too many hours in a day or in a week when school is on, working past a certain time at night when the school week is going on as well too. All violations of FLSA, and the business owner's liable if the employee reaches attorney and files a suit. Second one is the Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970. Congress created this government agency to ensure safe and healthful work conditions for working employees by setting and enforcing standards and by providing training, outreach, and education as assistance to their employees and employers. Another one is HIPAA. This is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996. This is a federal law that requires the creation of a national standard protecting sensitive patient health information from being disclosed without the patient's consent or knowledge. One thing you have to look at is, can you guarantee that all the health information is in a separate file from a standard employee file that more people who shouldn't have access to that have access to? So these are just some of the laws that an employer with one or more employees must make sure they're abiding by. Another area is labor law posters and posting of these areas. Businesses with one or more employees are mandated to have state and federal labor law postings in areas where all employees frequent, like a lunchroom, cafeteria, by a time clock where they clock in and out. Business owners are also required by state and federal law to make sure when there's an update in their state or by the federal government that they post that update by the labor law poster. This is a common error, and we see this all the time. We get calls all the time. We had a call last year from a client that the DOL was in their lobby. They were frantic because their labor law poster was 3 years outdated. So of course, what we did is we ran them out of poster. But this could have been avoided if they were just up to date on all labor law poster standings, or if they had a service to help them with making sure their stuff was updated. One area the pandemic uncovered was remote workers and how business owners have to comply with laws in regards to remote workers. We've had remote workers for years now, but I think with the pandemic, more employees are working from home nowadays. And it just brought to light that these employees also have to have an electronic version of the labor law posters that they can have access to wherever they're working. Also, the FFCRA was created due to the pandemic, and they also have a posting of this as well too. So not only do the business owners who have their businesses open and employees are coming to work, but the remote employees have to have this as well. And then the last area I want to talk about with the labor law postings is the FFCRA, which is the Family First Coronavirus Response Act. It was put in place this year to allow employees to use existing paid vacation, personal, medical, or sick leave already provided to them under the employer's paid leave policy to supplement their leave under the FFCRA. But keep in mind, this act was designed to expire on December 31st, but with the multiple cases, make sure you stay up to date on all the news and reporting because it could be extended. So keep up to date on that as well too. So from here, I'm gonna turn it over to Paula, and she's gonna go over the next 3 most common mistakes. So Paula.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the next common HR mistake is mishandling employee files. So many employers don't realize that you must have separate files that contain different types of employee information. Next, please. What a lot of employers don't realize is that you must have several separate files that will contain different types of employee information. We're going to break down the organization best practices into a few categories. So you'll see below you have the I-9 file, the medical file, the personnel file, and a payroll file. Documentation such as job descriptions and performance management and corrective actions should be stored in the personnel file. Documents should be organized and filed to avoid discrimination claims. These files should be kept in a secure place that is only accessible to those in the HR function with a legitimate need to review the information. For instance, locked cabinets in a locked HR office. This information can be stored electronically if that makes more sense for your business. Just ensure that it's backed up to prevent data loss and well secured. So basically, I had set up a client probably like 15, 18 years ago. And, you know, as far as the importance of keeping W-4s and I-9s stored in a secure place and making sure that you as the business owner have those two important documents completed by your employees. So this was a restaurant owner, like I said, many years ago. And I love the education process with my clients. So I really try to educate them on what they should be doing. So basically, you know, I was trying to let this business owner know that once he gets the W-4s and I-9s completed by his employees, that he should store them there at his business location. Well, there was about a year and a half, 2 years went by, and this is the honest to God truth. I got a phone call, and the only thing I heard on the other end was, Paula, this is John, and you were right. And I'm like, right? What am I right about? And he said, the information that you gave me a couple years ago about storing my W-4s and I-9s here at my restaurant location, he didn't do that. He got audited. And basically the auditor stated he should have that information stored securely there in files. And so before he left, at the time, well, again, this is years ago, he had about 15 employees and he had to pay $30 per employee. So he ended up paying $450 in penalties and fines for not having information stored in the proper place. So again, information being stored in the files, such as the ones that you see here on the screen, very important, keeping yourself in compliance. Next, please. Another common HR mistake is misclassifying employees and independent contractors. Basically, if you're a business owner hiring, contracting with other individuals to provide different services, you really need to determine whether the individuals providing the services are truly employees, which are W-2 employees, or independent contractors where they would receive a 1099. The misclassification of independent contractors isn't a problem just during tax season. It also impacts state unemployment compensation and workers' comp. So another story I'm going to tell you is basically, well, I'm going to give you an example. As far as business owners that have employees that they truly classify as subcontractors, which would actually would receive a 1099 at the end of the year. With those type of individuals, if the employee would get hurt, so workers' comp really wouldn't involve that particular situation, because if that subcontractor would get hurt, they're responsible for their own medical claims. Because with workers' comp is truly for employees of the business and not necessarily the subcontractors. Next slide, please. So as far as it's really important to understand the degree and control as far as independence, how that must be considered. You know, truly you really have to look at if the company really controls and has the right to control what the worker does and how the worker does his or her job. So are they using their supplies as far as the employers? Are they using their equipment? Do they have a true job description? Do they have a schedule? They need to work 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. So are they receiving benefits? Are they receiving insurance? Are they allowed vacation time? So these things really need to be looked at as far as truly being classified as an employee. So, are there written contracts as far as, different pension plans, things of that nature? And also, will the relationship continue, and is the work performed a key aspect of the business? I had another client years ago. He had a landscape company. And basically, he had a landscape and a snowplow company. So in the springtime, he hired truly employees, and which fell under being classified as a true employee getting a W-2. They had to work so many hours. They had to be at this job. They were using their equipment, their trucks, their backhoes, their dump trucks. So they truly were classified as an employee. Well, it came time to plowing snow, just like the wonderful weather we had yesterday. What he did was he started classifying, and he changed the classification from an employee to a subcontractor. That is a huge, huge mistake, and a huge red flag when it comes time to classifying with the IRS and the state and unemployment and things of that nature. So basically, long story short, he ended up getting caught because obviously the federal government and the state, nobody was receiving taxes on these employees anymore. They weren't filing and paying because he was, classifying them as a subcontractor. So right in the middle of the season, he went from employee to subcontractor, huge red flag. So again, you really need to be careful on how you classify your employees and the subcontractors. Next, please. The next common HR mistake, outdated or unenforced handbook. Employee handbooks should be updated and adhered to. Only include what you really plan to enforce. Listing policies you don't enforce can be dangerous than having no policies at all. Updating consistently as your business grows is also a key factor. Basically, the employee handbook lays the groundwork for a company's culture. It influences how the organization functions on a day-to-day basis. Plus, it can form the first line of defense in an employment lawsuit or investigation. Next, please. So we want to show here on this slide, with the employee handbook, you have your required and your commonly seen policies. You also have temporary COVID-19 considerations, which because of COVID-19, many of these policies have changed over time. As far as one quick example with the attendance policy or absenteeism and tardiness policy under the required and commonly seen policies. So you may have two employees, and in the last month, let's just say both employees either called off sick or they were tardy 5 to 10 times in that month's time. So basically, one of the employees, you gave a verbal warning and you also gave them a written warning, which then led to termination. So now you may be up for discrimination or wrongful termination because you basically wrote them up and you terminated them. You did it to one, but you didn't do it to the other. So you really need to keep consistent. Again, enforcing these policies that you put in place is critical. And again, as far as, just some of the things under the temporary COVID-19 considerations, working, the work from home policy, a lot of things have been updated, changing policies. Again, you need to be consistent as far as what you're terming for those employees as they work from home. And, just keeping things that are consistent is key. Next, please. So again, just going over, and I'm just going to, highlight, Brian and I just went over the 6 key mistakes that we just discussed are below: hiring and firing talent based on gut feelings, unaware of relevant labor laws, the labor law postings, mishandling employee files, misclassifying employees and independent contractors, an outdated or unenforced handbook. You really need to help protect your business. We're trying to assist you in doing that by avoiding these common HR mistakes. So again, as Brian and I mentioned from the beginning of this presentation, we're here to help. You know, like I mentioned before, and so did Brian, Ahola being local, family owned, in the business for 53 years. We're here to help your business from, you know, the hire to the retire stage. You know, we can assist with payroll, tax filing solutions, of course, our HRIS module, our onboarding, and everything in between. So we're here to help you. We're here to help your business grow. It doesn't necessarily depend on the size of your organization. We're really, really excited to be one of the partners with Cozy and the GCP, and we're here to help move your business forward. So to wrap this up, I just want to go over a lot of the key points that we are offering here at Ahola as far as giving you the exclusive Cozy discount. So we're offering a 10% off on the following services, and we are locking in pricing for 2 years. So of course, payroll and tax filing. We do have, and I'm going to skip around a little bit. We do have our employee onboarding and applicant tracking. So we mentioned before, as far as, you know, keeping a lot of the documents stored in a secure place, an HR file, keeping things stored for the HR individuals that they can only see it in a locked up place. So on our onboarding, you can keep the original documents, of course, and paper, but more and more businesses we're seeing, as far as with our onboarding module, basically it's eliminating a lot of paper. It's eliminating files and file cabinets. So you can actually store those documents right inside of our software, which is key. More and more businesses are doing that. We have our HR management and engagement software, which is our HRIS module. That acts as a file cabinet for you. So again, you can load various documents. You can scan and upload them into our system just to store things such as disciplinary actions, performance reviews, OSHA incidents, training, education. So that's more of like that secure file cabinet as well. We have our time and attendance. It's called iTime. So again, saving you a lot of time as far as manually entering information in our system. Your employees can actually just log in on a laptop, on their computer, on their phone, or a time clock. All of that information is then integrated right into our system. So again, saving you that time. We have benefits administration software, COBRA management services, and of course we have our automated data feeds to insurance carriers. So a lot of these discounts are offered to you being a Cozy GCP member, and we are definitely looking forward to assisting and serving you. And to get basically, you know, more information, you can actually go to the website www.cozy.org/Ahola in order to request a demo or to get more information on all of our services. So again, we thank you for your time today. We really appreciate it. We look forward to hearing from you. Enjoy your day, and we look forward to help moving your business forward. Thank you.
I want to thank everybody too, and thank Cozy for allowing us to present today, to be a presenter. Want to open it up. We have 1 minute left. If there are any questions you want to put in the chat, that Paula and I can answer. We'll give it a minute to see if there's any questions. If not, everyone have a great day. And like Paula said, we look forward to working with you and you know, all the Cozy members. So I do have a question in the chat about poster services. So yes, we do have a poster service that's part of our payroll service. So all of our Cozy members who are using Ahola as their payroll provider will get a labor law poster plus the labor law poster e-update service, which is very vital when there are changes. Last year, there was only one change, but who knows what 2021 is going to bring and how many federal and state labor laws are going to be changing next year. Another question in the chat is, do we offer, or should employers be doing background checks, and do you offer? So background checks are important. Depending on the business you're in, the industry you're in, some are mandated, some are recommended, but background checks are going to protect you as a business owner from not hiring people who have felonies or people who are not supposed to be working in certain industries. So background checks are very important. Drug tests, driver's tests, license tests, I should say, as part of the background check. We do partner with the local company here to offer those, and we can definitely connect you with that partner if it's something you want. And Paula's and I's information is on the screen. If you do have questions about this or anything else, please feel free to reach out to us, and we can help you out with background checks, posters, anything that you have questions on. We're able to work with you and help you with. So that is the time we have today. I thank everybody for coming. Thank you, Paula, for doing this with me, and thank Cozy again for having Ahola be part of the Cozy GCP partnership again. So thank you, everybody, and have a great day.
Thank you. Have a good day now. Bye-bye.